Well, isn't that nice? They're going to have Ron Wotus on. By the way, I got to tell you that earlier in the year, I was concerned about Ron Wotus. He obviously interviewed for the managership, and the new administration, the Farhan Zaidi administration, went with Gabe Kapler, who they had in mind to fit this kind of thing. And then Ron stayed on board, and he is the longest tenured coach. And I was thinking early in the season he was hesitant on some calls at third, and then there was one where he sent someone and it didn't work out or something. And I'm just a stupid fan. But I was concerned, and I remember texting to Mark. I was like, "Hey, man, I don't know if Wotus wants that job. I mean, he interviewed for the manager, and now he's kind of the third base coach, and I wonder if he's really into it." Is what I wondered aloud, as if it's in my place to wonder. But it is as a fan, because if he doesn't want that job, then let's put him somewhere else and let somebody else take the job. And then, like, immediately after I said that, Ron Wotus went on the tear of all tears at third. I mean, he has been dealing with us being much more active on the base paths. He has been incredible on the road in terms of understanding different parks and the arms of the opposing players and stuff. And Ron Wotus has been awesome at third base. Now, I don't know whether or not he announced that this would be his last year somewhere in there. And I wonder whether for him mentally, that the relief of that freed him up to be more like he is now. And it's very exciting to see Coach Wotus at third now, and he's an element of this, our success this year for sure. So I was remiss earlier in wondering whether he really wanted to do it, and I'm glad that he has come to some states of peace. And I hope, actually, if he wants to go be a coach somewhere and manage a team, he should be offered that opportunity. I mean, I see no reason why Wotus can't manage the Padres, or the Rockies. These are teams with talent, and he's a knowledgeable guy, and he's not that old. Heck, Dusty's still down there in Houston. Well, it has been an incredible year. I am MTK on the MIC. This is Giants Baseball Corner, and today it is the 162nd game of the greatest Giants season ever. And that can now be said, as we have won 106 games for the first time in our history, reaching all the way back to the 19th century. And it has been an incredible ride, composed of many, many, many different pieces, players, parts, lots of moving parts, which is the, vernacular of the day right now, managed brilliantly and with math in place toward a Moneyball type consciousness by Gabe Kapler, who, it is undeniable, Gabe Kapler is clearly manager of the year. How can you not give Gabe Kapler manager of the year? That's the only thing left here. If it's not a unanimous decision that Gabe Kapler is manager of the year, then I would like to speak to any writers in the BBWA to vote against him or vote for someone else. That said, let's talk about some of this decision making. It's very difficult as a fan, if I'm honest, to learn how to support this. There's constant experimentation. We used 34 pitchers. It might be 35 pitchers now, actually, because we brought up another rook this season. Certainly more than any season in Giants baseball history. We had a number of position players go up and down. We had no starting rotation. I've said this all year long. We had no starting rotation. Basically, the Giants led the whole way, the nation, without a starting rotation. The concept of the opener, which I saw for the first time as a Giants fan last year when the Kapler led team in the irregular season. That's what we call 2020, the irregular season. When that team used the opener, in that case, it was Caleb Berriger, I think, to set up a guy, Berriger. And it was successful, and it was really cool to watch Cap do that. And now I thought to myself, okay, well, that's a Moneyball element I'll learn about next year, this year, I mean. And we had a couple of instances of using an opener, right? Scott Kazimir, famously. And I think what was interesting to me was how quickly we just flipped from having an opener to bullpen game. Oh, bullpen game. And those idiots on the TV that I despise for their stupidity, looking for ways to talk about this game, except they can't because they have the same old stuff only. And they're not quite smart enough, are they? But anyway, they quickly rolled over to bullpen. Oh, well, and that moron says, "Oh, it's a perfect day for a bullpen game," as if that's something anybody ever wants. Is hysterical to me. But we as fans should stop, pause, listen, think. No, a bullpen game? Like we just have regular games now that are a bullpen game? That is the direct result of a new philosophy, a brand new way of thinking, a brand new way of managing. It has been orchestrated from the top to the bottom. It has been carefully constructed. The decisions are being made in a smart way, an adaptive way that deals with both the season at large and the day-to-day. These guys managed to take the season series from the Dodgers 10-9, and that took management. They've spent $60 million more than us, right? I call them the Sith Lord. The new Sith Lord is the Dodgers. They've spent 20% more than every single team. It's not the Yankees anymore. It's the Dodgers. And to beat them in the season series took incredible, weird, calculated moves. That's just one example of what Kapler and his much larger coaching staff. By the way, when we were up in Colorado, I was listening to the opposing broadcasters. I'll do that often. I like them in different places. And they were talking very much about how this year, for the first time when the Giants came to town, they had a cadre of coaches, like a ton of coaches, which I thought was interesting. Let's see what Marty's got going.
If only, if we, or should I, or, all those things go through your head. Obviously, it was a game that we really wanted to win. So, as far as I'm going, we have a lot more games left. So it's business as usual for me. It's very hard to think about anything other than the game at hand today.
Well, this one reminds me a little bit of 2010 with Jonathan Sanchez, who was on top of his game, and Latos, and yesterday 40,000 in the park, and the place was going nuts. It was playoff game atmosphere without a doubt. And today reminds me of that Sunday of going out there knowing you had to win a game. I get that feeling again.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Great
Matt Latos was on the mound for them. Back then, Matt Latos.
Obviously, expect the same thing today, and I feel good about today. We got Webby going on the hill. He's been one of our best guys in the second half. You kind of expect that the Padres will have a bullpen game. We're going to see a lot of arms today. I would expect they used their good lefty yesterday. Musgrove was outstanding. I thought that was one of the best games I've seen him pitch. His command was on. He pitched us really, really tough. So hopefully we won't be facing that same arm today, a quality of arm, and we'll get some different guys and we can put some runs on the board.
Well, how about Slater and the pinch hit home run? And what's his slap when he goes past you? Is he a handshake? What do you do with him?
I don't know with him. We're always so confused. Sometimes we go low, sometimes we go high. I've been a little more hesitant to go high with some of these guys in big moments because I don't want to blow out a rotator cuff. You know what I mean? When you pick them, if they come, these guys do a great job in the cage preparing for that at bat. They're not just hitting off, me or some dead arm. Can I say Billy Hayes? But he was a great BP thrower, right? He was really, really good. In the cage, getting ready for the at bat, they have they have the machines going. They have live arms. They have the report for the guy they're gonna face, and they get hot very, very early. So they're all lathered up. By the time they go to home plate, it's not like the candlestick days when you took the parka off and you walked to home plate. You went up there cold turkey. So they're really prepared, and they've been really aggressive in those at bats, and it's really paid off.
I was thinking about being a third base coach, and Bruce Jenkins and I talked about you a little bit on the show today, and I've always said this to you, that you're a shortstop still playing the game, and you go by your instinct. So I was going to ask you this. What advice would you give? You got advice from Joey Malfitano, from Flan, and all these people along the way. What advice would you give a young third base coach?
Well, a couple of things. I think first off, you want to take charge of the position. You know, you want to make sure the players look at you when they have to look at you. If a player's, you can't get him his attention, you got to make sure you get his attention and they do the things that they need to do. So take charge. I mean, there's times you got to yell at a guy to step out of the box, or if you have to go down and talk to the hitter because you want to explain a situation and make sure he's, on board or understands the situation, go down and talk to him. So, you know, feel free to do those things. It's all about preparation from there, really. I guess I could say make the signs as simple as you can, right? The players have a lot on their minds. They don't need some elaborate system to try to get your signs. The last thing you want to do is miss a sign in a big moment. So, that could be a little hard to do at times when you have other people gawking at you and they have video cameras on you. But I think that's important to keep it simple for the players. And then, as you said, I think repetitions are important in preparation. You know, the scoreboard tells you the story, the outs, who's coming up, the inning, the whole ball of wax. And if you don't do preparation, check the infield, check the outfield, know the arms, et cetera, every time, that's when you get caught off guard and you do something that you probably shouldn't do.
Smart.
And you need good luck on your side, Marty. You know, if you've got 2 outs and there's a bullet to the outfield and you got an average runner and a guy that can throw, you got to make a decision whether you're going to, roll the dice and make them throw you out, or you're going to stop them and play conservative. So those are the tougher decisions that you have to make, the actual read of the ball and the decision in the game whether to send or hold a guy.
No, you do it well. You do it well, Wo. How many years was it in between being the bench coach and going back to third base?
Well, let's see. I just coached in '98 at third base, and then I had one went to a graduations for his daughter. I don't know if you remember this game. We had Benji Molina at the plate. It was in the first inning. He was hitting cleanup. Had Manny Burris at third base. And, Boch put me out to coach third because I had the experience. So, how many years? 98 to, 2000 and what would the year be? I don't know what it was, 15 or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
So I'm out there, and we have Benji Molina at the plate with 2 outs, and Manny Burris is at third.
That can't be 2015. It's going to be 2009.
Steal home. And I said, Manny, stay right here. Let Benji hit. Next pitch, he takes off for home plate. He tries to steal home. Pitcher quickens up his delivery. He's out at the plate. I'm livid. Ruined my whole day. It was in the first inning. Now I had to go back out there 9 times. Not only did it ruin my day, but it ruined Tim Flannery's day because he was listening from the graduation about the game. And when Burris got thrown out, one of the broadcasters, and I don't know who it was, he said, "Oh my God, Tim Flannery sent Manny Burris to steal home," and he wasn't even here. So a moment we'll never forget.
Oh, I love it. Very good. Hey, yesterday, talk about the stars of the game. I thought Machado yesterday had really a special game, and we kicked around the strategy, maybe pitching around him and this and that, but. The at-bat with Littell, Littell throws 97 well at the top of the zone, and it's not easy to hit a fly ball, and he did hit a fly ball. I thought that was the at-bat of the game yesterday.
Well, yeah, it was a big moment in the game, and Littell did such a great job, punching out Tatis. I mean, you're in a bind, and you got second and third and nobody out. They very easily could score 2 runs in that inning, and you can lose the lead. Now, we are at home. Right, and we have a 1-run lead. So it's not the end of the game. We have 9 outs to go. We have last at bats. Sure, we'd like to get out of there with no runs, but if you get out of there with 1 run across in a tie game, we still feel like we're in pretty good shape and did our job. And basically that's what we did. It's unfortunate that they tied the game. Then they were able to scratch out another run in extra innings, and we couldn't push one across against a tough Mark Melanson, and that was the difference.
Boy, what a day yesterday. Very exciting.
I hate Melanson stinging us.
I'd love to talk about, and that is the beauty of spring training. Who knows what your role will be next year, but what's it like going through the winter and getting ready for spring training? Because a lot of people say when they're not active anymore, the way you are now, that, boy, spring training comes and they get very antsy. What is spring training like for you when you get close in January?
Well, it's such a long season, as you well know, Marty. Everybody knows. And then you have that break, and usually the weather starts warming up, and you're late January, early February here in California, and you're outside a little bit, and you know you're going to be going, and you start getting the itch again. And certainly for a bench coach, which I was, for 19 years. You got to start calling people, in January 1st, you got to start calling the coaches, setting the schedule, planning the schedules, and getting a lot of particulars done. So it really is a year-round job now for a lot of the coaches. A lot of coaches continue to work with hitters, fielders. So I think the days of, taking a few months off and then getting ready to go to spring training are almost gone. I mean, we have great facilities down in Arizona. The new spring training site is just unbelievable, I hear. They have a pitching lab down there. So I think you're going to have a lot of coaches working most of the winter, going in and out of Arizona to do some things, just like we did this conditioning camps, right? The training staff has. They have 2 of those a winter. You may go down to see them. But spring is a beautiful time of year, right? The long winter is over.
All right, we lost it. Actually, that's okay. It was starting to get just a tad slow for my tastes, and that's okay. This is Giants Baseball Corner. We're at the 20-minute mark today, and it is.
I mean, obviously the starting pitcher makes a difference, but we've done it a little differently this year. I mean, our bullpen has been a shutdown bullpen for us. We go to the bullpen extremely early. In a lot of games, shoot, the last month we had how many bullpen games that we're able to shut people out and only give up 1 run. So it's a little bit different. So, I'd say the key for us is we need to score some runs. I mean, we're built to score runs, play good defense, not beat yourself. But I think this club needs to put some runs on the board as well. That's been our strength all year long. We've set records with home runs, pinch hits. We match up very well. And I think putting some runs across the board for this team is going to be as important as any aspect of the game for us.
All right. A little different than before. Pitching always was the key. Now hitting is a little bit more important. I got it.
Well, let me say, obviously pitching is always extremely important. But,
right.
If you look at the way, our starters have been, it's not like the old days where, your starters are going complete games and 8 innings, and you got to use 1 or 2 guys out of the pen. We've used our pen. I don't know what the innings are, but they've been a big part of our success, and I don't expect that to change.
Boy, let me bring Bill in. I know Bill has some thoughts for you on this last day of a regular season for you, and you've got much more ahead. But go ahead, Bill.
First of all, congratulations to Marty and Ron. I congratulate you both because over the years you guys have put on some great interviews on Sunday morning, the professor and holding the class with Marty. But I want to do that first to congratulate both of you as we end a 162-game season this year. But Ron, you said something earlier in one of your comments where you went home and you had a hard time sleeping. Fans don't realize it's not just hard on the players, it's hard on the coaches. You start thinking about all the different scenarios, all the different things that could change a game. As you reminisce on the 162nd game today, driving into the park, what were you thinking and why?
Well, the same thoughts usually come to your head. It's like, boy, you go through a 162-game season, and here we are. It comes down to the last game, right? You think about all those close games that, maybe you didn't finish off or you lost late. And, those things stick with you. This game is, you got to honor the game. You got to play the game hard. You got to give yourself every chance to win every day. And, I think the approach of the club and how the club plays is so important because it seems like it always boils down to one day. And that's where we are again. And this is what you play for. And, we work so hard and play so well all season long. And here we go. I mean, we're in the playoffs, but there's no question we want to win the division. So those are some things that go through your head. But, Bill, I want to thank you for your nice comments. And it was good being with you as well. And, of course, obviously, congratulations to you too, Marty, the rabbi. It's It's an honor being on with you.
That's Marty.
Oh, come on. I look forward to this every week, and we'll do more. Your radio career, your TV career, you've got a whole new career ahead of you. So we've got plenty to do. I was thinking about this, and, longest tenured coach in Giants history. Do you have an all Wotus team, an all Woe team that you could kind of put together, and maybe some of your favorites along the way?
Yeah, that is so hard to do because you have multiple favorites at every position. Obviously guys that would be on the team or guys I think early on in my career that I managed in the minor leagues, that it was just a special feeling to come to the Giants and coach them in the big leagues as well. And of course the group I'm with now, the Posies, the Belts, the Crawfords, guys that you have won championships with that are still here. I mean, you got to throw Bum in there, obviously, what he's done for us. But if you go way back, I was very impressionable my first few years. The Bill Millers, the Rich Aurelias, the J.T. Snows, Rob Nen. There's a lot of these guys that are still in the game. Sean Estes, I had him in the minor leagues. And a lot of them, you still have a relationship with. So that's the thing about this game, and the thing that I've really enjoyed is all the people that I've been able to share this great game with on the field, and to continue to have those relationships is really, really special.
Ron, you just said that about them, but I guarantee if you ask them what about you, they would probably say even more of the accolades that you have done for them. When you look at all the Gold Glove infielders, from Panic getting his first, Crawford, and just with working with Longoria at third base, all the different things that you've done in your career in a Giants uniform. And today, on the 162nd day, this is your final day in that third base coaching box. And I want to commend you, and I hope Giants fans do that for you today at the ballpark, because it's been a great ride. It's been an educational ride. You have done so much for the Giants organization. And all I can do is stand up and applaud for you today.
Well, Bill, thank you very much. And, you would have been on my favorites list if you didn't strike me out. You didn't strike me out all the time. You would have made it on the list. But
I really still got that sinker slider on you.
I know. Well, you still have the bone chip more than anything. But I hope I didn't leave. I've left so many players out. It's a tough thing to mention all the guys that you love, and I appreciate those comments, Bill. Thank you so much.
No, it's great. I'm going to do a little lightning round with you here. I'll just give you a name, and you give me your reaction. This covers some of your career. Brian Sabean.
Oh, God. Well, he's the boss. He's the godfather. He's the one that, probably the main reason that I've been here so long is Brian Sabean giving me a chance and treating us all so well. So I can't say enough about Sabes. And
oh, come on. Did I lose it again? This is the Giants Baseball Corner. We are listening to KNBR. Marty Lurie talking baseball. One of my favorite people in the world. Marty was the person who allowed me to wear the ring for the one time I needed to do it, just because we finally won the championship. And there's Marty. Talking Baseball is on KNBR. Hope you get a chance to listen to it. 680. And we might have lost the signal. That was Ron Wotus, third base coach of the San Francisco Giants. He is also the longest tenured coach in Giants history.
And, you can never forget Felipe. The man is better than the wine. This is one of his favorite sayings, obviously. And all I've learned from him, and he introduced me to the red wine, and which I enjoy so much. But just the thrill to be around a legend like that, and what he's accomplished in the game, and just his evaluation. I can go on and on, but I was very fortunate to work alongside Felipe Alou.
And Dusty Baker.
Well, Dusty, I think I've said it before. He was the perfect guy for me to be next to when I got to the big leagues, because I was a little rigid and a little kind of stuck on the work, and he really showed me the importance of the relationship and how to treat people. And I just love playing for Dusty. He's a great friend right now. And, now that you mention him, 5 teams to the playoffs, I think he's one of the greatest managers of all time, what he's just accomplished in the game. And I hope we get to see
Bochy?
Boch, well, what can we say? Old school, grew up from the school of hard knocks, a man's man, 3 world championships here. We had so much fun. He treated us so well in the fact that he let us do our work, and the success that we had. And those are days with Boch and the whole staff that you will never, ever forget. And I enjoy talking to Boch now. We have a lot more fun now in our conversations than we did in the heat of the moment. And I'm grateful he's still around in the organization.
Dave Righetti.
What can you say about Rags? You know, one of the greatest pitchers in the game had, you know, a true Yankee, a true friend. We've been through so many battles together. As a matter of fact, you know, when I started out in San Jose as a manager, he had a house, and I think it was not Alderman. Anyways, he had this house in San Jose, and Rags let me stay there. So we knew each other a little bit, and I rented his house from him. And when I was an A-ball manager, and he was always so great to me the rest of the career, and one of the great coaches to our World Series runs.
Crook and Kipe.
Well, when they're not making fun of my hair, I love these.
They do get on it.
It's all in fun. I love them. As everybody tells me, and everybody says, we have the best announcers.
Yeah, they made that into something to say, didn't they? All you guys are such puppets, man. A little crew of white folks and make Crook and Kipe into the best broadcasters. No, you don't put 2 ball players together, and it's crap 80% of the time. So it's my opinion, always has been. Sorry, change the channel if you don't like it.
How about Gabe Kapler and what you've seen in the last couple of years? Because you've seen from Bruce Bochy to Brian Sabian, Dusty, and how about Gabe Kapler?
Well, it's been a real treat to work for Cap. He has treated me as well as anybody has. I mean, he goes out of his way to make sure people are motivated, are feeling good, and he certainly has done that with me. And to be on board with the 2 years with him, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I think he's a guy I'll certainly have a relationship with going forward. I hope so, because he has just been and he's done a tremendous job here. I mean, look at the change we've had. Who would have thought we'd have 106 wins this year? Mm-hmm. So another guy that's done a tremendous job, and it just treats people right.
How about Farhan and putting together a whole new organization? Well, I mean, from top to bottom. How about that?
No doubt, and it's not easy to do. I mean, he came in here, and we had a different culture, and he turned this thing 180 degrees on the approach and the way we do things. And he has done a tremendous job. And then he hired on Scott, and here they are. The organization's rolling again, and he has just done a great job for the San Francisco Giants.
So that shows you that, you know, how many years you've done this and the people you've come in contact with. And I'll mention one other that I love, and I love talking ball with him. That's Lee Elder, who is Brian Sabian's right-hand man and a great scout.
Yes, Lee. When you mention, Sabes and Lee Elder and the Dick Tidrows, and of course when you win and you have 3 world championships together, those are memories and feelings that you mention a guy's name, and it's all good. And Lee has always been like that. You know, he's the one guy that made you laugh, always kept things light, and he likes to enjoy himself. An old-time scout who helped us on the field, but helped us all even more with his levity and humor.
Well, I wish you well, Wo. It's been, look, we've had so much fun together doing these shows. You're the professor. We do it for River Islands, and we've been out to River Islands together and all the things they do out there in Islanders Field and the different homes and all the different styles and everything. It's been great.
Right when the advertising comes is when we drop out. Again, this is the nonprofit. I don't make any money here. Everything here should be DMCA protected. It is about critique and evaluation and enjoyment of the San Francisco Giants and broadcast of it. And today's Talking Baseball with Marty Lurie is the sort of beginning of what is going to be a very interesting day for San Francisco Giants fans. The 160 second game of the greatest season in Giants history. A game which, if we lose it, we could be in danger of having to play a 163rd game against the nemesis, the Bums, the team that plays in the ditch in LA. At least we play them at home, as I was saying earlier, because we won the season series 10-9 in that incredible bullpen game that Dominic Leone started and went well into the night. And it was such an exciting win at home at Oracle. So I have confidence that if we go to 163, we can beat the Dodgers at home, especially if they use Urias as they have yesterday and Walker Buehler as they're going to today. This puts them in a position for a 163rd game that's a little different from us. I think we're better prepared for a bullpen game. I think what we've been doing is that. And what's been crazy about it is how successful it's been. The number of people who are amazed by this, including myself, is everyone. And so I think that's what math does in a way. You know, sometimes when you don't know about science or math, and then you're tentative, and then you try something using the logic of math or science, suddenly you see why it's more effective. And when that starts to happen, it can be infectious. And that, I think, has happened with this team. All year long, we've talked about a next man up mentality, which has just been thrilling to watch. Guys, want to go in there and make a difference. Losing Brandon Belt in the last week of the season was a crushing blow. I would have felt much more confident this weekend had Brandon's thumb not been broken and his availability being now at least another 3 weeks, they're saying. There was a thumb injury similar to Brandon's earlier in the season, and the player was out for 4 weeks. It was a similar player, actually. I forget who it is offhand. So let's see. All of this week, then all of next week, and then we might be able to, if we made the World Series, Brandon Belt could come back for the World Series, which is just, it has poetry written all over it. And the guys all wearing C's for the captain, which started as a gag, and that whole thing with him gone is a bonding element. And we've all seen in 10, 12, and 14 the various bonding elements that were crucial. And we as fans enjoy that. That's really important, I think. But losing Brandon Belt this week has been just really rough. I'd like to return to the point I was making earlier, which is how this is a different team built, as Marty just said, from top to bottom by Farhan Zaidi, Scott Harris, and Gabe Kapler. I think that we have to look at this year later and evaluate it. I think this winter we will do that. I'm glad that I started up GBC again because I've been able to cover all the games, and I covered the gauntlet most closely. That was the longest stretch of games we had, which was 16 games in a row. And if you just go to the site, if you go to Gauntlet, category Gauntlet, you'll see all 16 games where I covered just, down to pitches. I was covering it because I wanted those details. And other than that, I've been able to cover most series. I've been able to watch most games. I was able to go to the yard twice, and we won both. Shut out the Dodgers. I picked up this hat in the Nats series at the very end of the first half, and this hat has been incredibly lucky. We call it the Stylish. I will be wearing the Stylish today. You don't wear the Stylish on consecutive days. That's a rule, and I haven't worn it in about 3 or 4 days. And the Stylish is 20-5 since I left the yard. This hat, 20 wins, including 4 incredible Lamont Wade Jr. rallies with this thing in rally cap formation. There's a beauty that this cap this year was bought at the yard, came home, has not gone back to the yard yet, and is very lucky. It's associated with 21 forever, this hat, and I'm pleased that kind of happened. I'm wearing the lucky shirt and the lucky jersey, and of course I'll be glued to the game with the telephone off. And I'm excited. Webb is our best pitcher. And this is an opportunity right now to win the division in our hands. We did everything we had to do to get to today. And even if we fail today, we have the advantage if we have to go to 163. So the pride I have in this team makes me feel loose, not tense or anxious. I feel excited, and I'm very proud of the San Francisco Giants. This is and has been the greatest season I've ever seen. And despite my distaste for things, I hope you all aren't offended. I was MTK on the MIC. Let's go get them. Let's go get them. Beat the Friars. Beat the Pods. Beat the Pods. Let's go get them. It's in our hands. Let's win the division. Let's win the World Series. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.